Hey folks, Jonathan here, working on the old 55 Chevrolet pickup with the Perkins diesel, and we're going to see if we can take this thing down the road today and test her out really well. Doing some checking. I think the rear end's going to be geared at 390, which is definitely lower than what we want. Now I've been saving the rear end for this truck. I think this is a Dana 40. I think that's what they consider these, but I'm not positive now. It's got the front and rear. The gears come out the front, or the carrier comes out the front, and but it does have a rear cover. So we're not going to worry a whole lot about trying to change the gears in this rear end. I've got a 12 bolt that's the same width as this, 6 lug pattern, and I've been saving it for a little while because I kind of figured I was going to need it for this truck. So we're actually going to just check it out and see how it drives, and which, like I said, I'm sure it's going to be too low, but the 12 bolt, you know, we'll at least have some options with it, and maybe get the road speed up what we want it, because just puttering around here in the driveway, I can tell you right now this is going to be really low, and too low, of course. Now, a few things: we don't have any shocks on the back, and I needed to redo some brackets, and I decided I didn't want to do that until I knew if I was going to change the rear, which I kind of figured I was going to. So we will we'll address that when we get to it. So if the tires do any spinning, it didn't sound right. If the tires do any spinning, it's probably going to have some wheel hop to it, which is not an issue. Now, a couple things I had to go back and do on this. One thing was this fitting. And I stuck this fitting into a air hose end just so maybe you could see. It's hard to see. There's actually a crack, a split in that fitting, and it was just because I over tightened it. I mean, these are pipe threads, so it's sort of a tapered thread, and this was actually the line that was running from the oil pressure to the turbo, and it was just slowly dripping. So I took care of that issue. We redone the brake pedal and moved it over a little bit toward the left, and because it was kind of close to the gas pedal where I had to mount it, so we got that issue taken care of. And let me see, playing with some wiring on it. I finally got went and put some cotter pins. I didn't have any cotter pins in the castle nuts on the spindle, so I got that done. And I wanted to find new caps, but just stuck the old caps back on it. So that's taken care of. Water temperature gauge is hooked up, temp gauge. So got it in. And I'm going to mount the gauges under the dash. I've got the boost gauge I need to mount. And everything else I think is pretty much taken care of. Wiring, I am going to go ahead and figure this wiring out and just start it from here and go on with it. I was gonna cut it all out, but I just decided not to. It's really not too bad coming out of the firewall. It just needs to be addressed, figured out what's what. Not a problem. We know that these are taillight. This all goes to the back. Of course, this is the front harness, and we'll figure everything out as we go. I would say that this longer one here that's cut off is probably the start, and maybe even the coil. But first things first, we got to get power to it, and I'm sure the big red one's going to be the power. So we're going to go ahead and get power to it, and then we'll get in the truck. And I've got the key switch pulled out. I didn't have a key for it, so you can see what I was talking about. The brake pedal, I moved it over a ways, that way it wouldn't interfere with the gas pedal. And still got to get some bolts from in my column here. This is just a column bracket. You know, these columns are mounted to the steering gear box. Steering gear box is mounted to the frame, so it's actually pretty solid. But the old key switch is hanging out, so we're going to go and cut them wires, redo them, and put them on our new key switch. So we'll go ahead and start getting that together and make it where we can start it inside and cut this panel out. So we've got to build the hump. I'm going to make it where it bolts in and out. So I think we can handle all that, no problem. And still haven't done anything on the exhaust, so we may or may not do something on that today. Try to at least run it back a little ways. All right, I'll show you more. Okay, I think we got her wired up where she should start up, and I'm going to fire it up, and we're going to back it up here, and then we're going to pressure wash it and try to clean off some of this green funk that's on it. See what she does. Much nicer. That old diesel makes this truck shake, makes it shake hard, that's for sure, especially when you shut it off. Okay, we're gonna clean windshield and try to get some of this nasty moldy stuff off of it. I'll get some purple spray and spray on it, and we'll pressure wash it and clean my wheels up a little bit. I think we're going to take her down the road and see how it does. Okay, we got it pressure washed off as good as we're going to get it. There's a lot of little stuff that needs done to this truck, and a lot of it, the small stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do. But I will be selling this thing before it's over with. I know I've had a lot of people that's asked about it and interested in it, and I'll definitely let everybody know when I get ready to sell it. But I do want to try. I've got to get this wing glass window in it on this side. I want to go ahead and finish the rest of the wiring up and get a seat mounted in it. I think I've located a factory bench seat that I'm going to get. Now, one thing I do want to say, this truck is not perfect by any means. There's a lot of rust on the fenders. There's a lot of rust on the bottom of this door, the bottom of the fender. The rockers look good and the cab corners look good, but they've got a lot of Bondo in them. The rest of the cab is good. The floor is pretty good in the cab. I don't see any issues with it, but the bottom of that door is good, but there's some rust coming through where the paint's coming off. I don't think they prepped it real well. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of Bondo in that cab corner there. But if I was going to leave it, I'd just leave it. But if I was going to paint it and try to make it nice, I would definitely put new cab corners in it. This side of the bed's the same way. The step's got some rust, the fender's got some rust. And most of you seen the inside of the bed is terrible. We're going to work with it. I think I've got boards for it, just some old oak. We're just going to stick in it. We're not worried about trying to look stock or factory. I did put a new front on it. Tailgate's in fair shape. So, no taillights yet, but we're just going to go play with this thing. And I didn't do a good job washing, but anyway, it's better than it was. So anyway, we've got it set up where we can fire it and roll. I'm going to see if I can get the camera set up in there, maybe a little different, and see what I can do. All right. pressure is 60 and temperature is about 180. Shut her off here a second. If you're wondering why I'm all over the road, when I got this truck it would barely steer. The kingpins were actually just about locked up in it. And you know, a wore out kingpin will never stick, but a kingpin that's in good shape will stick. Now I've shot grease to them and I just don't think the grease is all the way to them. So if you get you know, most vehicles when you go straight they'll self-correct. They'll try to keep going straight. This particular vehicle here, if you correct any to the left, it tries to stay to the left. It don't self-correct. So until I get that freed up better, it's just going to be rough. But driving with one hand don't help a thing on this old truck. But anyway, that's our issue there. Like I said, our oil pressure was at 60. Our temperature's at 180. And looks like we're making pretty steady 10 to 12 pounds of boost. So I'll try to show you that again. But we'll head back toward the home front. I lost my boost. Alright, we lost our boost. We popped the hose up. I don't know if you heard the pop or not. Let's see what temperature. Yeah, we're still at 180. I noticed going down the road it dropped down to about 170. So our radiator's working really well. Let's see what we blew off. We may have to do something to get these hoses to stay on a little better. Oh, now we blowed the hose. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Oh well. Well, we'll get another hose, but I don't think, maybe they're not made. That might just be intake hose. That might not be made for that kind of pressure, so we may have to do some finagling on that. That's pretty funny. I heard it pop. It sounded like a tire pop. So anyway, I'll get that done because we're going to, I think I'm going to try, we'll get a hose on that, and I'm actually going to try a third gear burnout. I think I can do it. We'll really put this thing to the test. And it's going to be one of them go or blow situations. If she can't handle it, then, and I'm not saying blow the motor, I'm saying drive shaft rear end, but I think third gear it'll, I think we can get it spinning and it might roll. So plenty of torque, it's just we're just geared too low. So anyway, let me get that hose, get a hose on there. We'll go from there. Now that's just funny. I don't care who you are. That is just neater than can be. I found the problem. We had a rabbit in there trying to get out. Okay, we got us another one, and I'm going to order some good stuff because I don't know that this was even rated for any pressure. But you know, part of it looks as if it may have been my fault. I don't know if you can see how the clamp line is running through here, but it gets closer to the edge here, so I had a lot more area down this way. Maybe you can see it. Oh, I see it better on this side. And I had the clamp close to the edge, and that allowed for a longer distance between here, so it didn't help anything. So I'm going to make sure I get this one on a little better and keep this area as short as possible. So we learned something. All right. Okay, folks, that was just a little driveline test, I guess you could call it. I packed it up, dumped it in third gear, and it spun, and it'd probably spun in fourth if I could have got to it, but you know, it's steered too low. It's either 390 or 411. It's probably 390. I think that's what most of these were. But anyway, truck's going good. I've still got to get that steering straightened out. It's just tight, staying where, you know, wherever you put the wheels, where it stays. If I pulled out of here and had the wheel cut to the left and I just let go of the wheel, it wouldn't return itself back. I would have to return it itself. So I've just got to get the I've just got to get everything freed up good. It's just been sitting for years and years. So anyway, no heating, we got no leaks. Probably gonna order a little better pieces for our turbo pipe, and boost seems to be fine, you know, 10, 12 pounds. I've cleaned it up to 15, but running really good. I really like it. Like I said, this thing will be for sale eventually, and I'll let everybody know when. And also, I just want to tell everybody, YouTube is stopping their messaging. So what I'm actually doing, the wind's blowing kind of hard here. What I'm actually doing is I started a email just for my YouTube subscribers. If anybody wants to email me or needs to, or has any questions or anything, you know, be more than glad to try to help you out. So anyway, it'll be in the description there, but it's ytjonathanw@google.com, and they're, you know, going to completely take away the messaging. So the only way we'll have to communicate would be through the email or through you leaving comments. And I try to read them all, but I'm not going to say I get every one of them, but I try. If I miss them, it's not by my, you know, on purpose. But all right, appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.